Welcome to my view from the piano bench. We do this on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. here on my Joe Holt's Notes YouTube channel, in addition to Piano for My Friends on Thursday evenings. Thank you to those of you who support and encourage me via the links you'll find on the support page of my website that amounts to sponsoring these videos. I don't have any other fundraising or monetizing approaches right now, so thank you to those of you who do that, and thank you to those of you who would consider. The Patreon option is simply a recurring take on a tip jar, which will elicit a monthly thank you email from me with exclusive content. I'm talking fast because this video is going to be shorter, but I felt it was more appropriate to put a short video out than no video at all. And that is because since I got back from my little vacation to Miami to see my oldest son who just moved there, and my grandkids, this is absolutely to the wall. This is my busiest month in a long time. Made more complicated because of some performances that I have primarily centered at the mainstay that require a lot of rehearsal, that if I have the time to do it, that's fine. And if I don't, then that's not so fine. And I'm running around with a, chicken with the head cut off kind of thing. And that's how I'm feeling at the moment, where I came from one rehearsal and I have to get to a gig soon, and I don't actually have a full hour to record this, and it is Wednesday afternoon. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit and then load this video and go. So my apologies. And part of the issue, I don't know what I'm going to title this video yet. It might be prepping for the gig, or it might be something else. I'm going to wait and see what I actually talk about. But part of the issue when you're the one-man band, and I don't mean that just because I can play like Dave McKenna, but I mean every department of my business, I'm the only guy involved here, is to actually take a week and just push everything to either side of it. Just kind of makes everything fall off the shelves and onto the floor. And I've always been reluctant to do that. And as you know, if you've watched these before, back in the day in particular, when there was more traveling involved in my musical career, and back when the kids were little as well, that traveling kind of would serve a dual purpose. And it could get me away, but not completely away. Or our kids could take trips with me. Or we could go down to the Golden Inn in Avalon, New Jersey for the weekend and hang out as a family. And most of the time I wasn't playing. But I was. But that was a few days, and things that were unresolved at home I could take care of. So I'm just running around, chasing my tail here. And I'm probably even talking in circles. But the rehearsal I just came from was kind of an exercise in I won't even say the word. I don't even know what word to use. I could think of a word. So it's an interesting time and a wonderful time. I am blessed. One of the things that I can struggle with is being prepared in the space for each particular gig. Now, I always talk about that in the general sense, especially in the idea of the space, where I set the space each morning, and I was able to take a little bit of time this morning. I did not have much. I was actually very pleased with what I could accomplish in like the 15 minutes that I had. Sometimes it takes longer than that. But this morning, there's this sort of inner place that, I can find where, okay, I can observe this, I can feel this, I'm not thinking about that. And I'm thankful for that today, because I need that today. There's the general prep, which is not just for the gigs I walk into, although that's, the main stated purpose of why I do this in the morning. Well, not this, but why I come to the piano in the morning first before anything. is to open the space so that I can go to the gig with the space opened up, right? But it's also just to allow me to be kind of sane. Yeah, I remember one morning when, and I'm not doing it now, but when I was coaching the jazz combo at Washington College, and we always have rehearsals in the evening, but there was one week we had to do it in the morning. And I'm like, do we have to? Okay, fine. And so I think I had a gig the night before. I just had to sleep until I had to leave, and I got there in the morning. And I was not able to open the space on the piano, which actually was very good from a lecture point of view, because my mouth wouldn't stop moving. I had all sorts of things to say. It was just like bang a bang a bang a bang a bang a bang a bang, and I don't know if the kids know what hit them, but I actually felt very good about the class, but not about anything else the rest of that day. So I kind of like pay the price a little bit for walking around spacey in order to open the space. I guess that's why they call it spacey, right? But it's actually, as you've heard me say before, my self-medicating. So no need to talk about that. So there's the general preparation, but there's the individual preparation for the gigs. And this is something that I can struggle with, especially in the past when I was not as good as juggling the different things simultaneously. But I'm doing so much of it now, it's just required. And I build it into my practice routine more than before. And that's the main difference. That, there are 3 categories of practicing. There was the open the space thing and the general technique, prep, morning scales, all of that, which, I do that for 2 hours. I seldom have 2 hours for that part of it. I could do it, and I would love it. And then there is like the projects, the things, the wish list stuff, the long-term goals, the classical piece I'm rehearsing, the idea that I need to finish learning this group of pieces and I'm going to do it so many minutes a day and blah, blah, blah. And that was always a priority to me. And then after that was make sure you prepare for each gig. And I finally had to reverse those last 2 because I have a responsibility for putting in the time to be prepared for each gig because you're in a different space, and I'm not really the cerebral guy. I'm not the guy best cut out to be, say, a musical director in terms of, I got too much ADD for that, but sometimes I'm in that position. And for me, in order to know what I'm doing, it's not like I have to know how to think about it. I have to know how to feel about it, and time. The more time I spend with something, just organically absorbing it, even though, of course, I can intellectually do it. I can read music. I, am literate and all of that. Just absorbing it and being in the space is the best place for me. And that requires time. And so in my practicing now, I'm looking ahead, and even if it's, and this is something that was always something I purposed to do and knew that I should, but sometimes fell off the back end because of how I prioritize things, which is even if it's a gig that I've, played all the tunes and we do this all the time and, I can just walk in and do it and there's nothing I don't remember. There's still, and I feel this every time I do it, there's still a tremendous benefit for going in and touching the space of what I'm going to be doing later that day or the next day or in 2 days or whatever. It's kind of similar to if you're going to be playing a gig and playing a certain style or kind of music, listen to that music on the way to the gig. That's something a lot of musicians do. I believe I mentioned this, I have some memory of it, that some years ago, Tom Baldwin, great bass player from the Western Shore, I played with him last night, and it's so much fun. Had him come over do a jazz repertoire service with the Mediri brothers, and that's not the thing that I mean, he knows the tunes, but he never really plays that stuff. And so I found out when he pulled into the church parking lot that he was listening to a collection of Benny Goodman Trio stuff. You know, even though there's a bass player in it. You know, because he wasn't listening for what to play; he was absorbing himself in the style, and that is very helpful. The gig I did with Sharon at 49 West for Atlanta Birds Jazz Series on Saturday night. Magical gig. And it was a show I played with Sharon not that long ago. I knew all the tunes, but I felt so much better just taking some time in the afternoon that day and just touching all the tunes. I just 45 minutes, half hour or something, and it's like it kind of moves it to the front space of my brain because there's all sorts of clutter in there, right? And then I could get it done. And I would have gotten it done before, without that, but I would have tripped over things probably, or I could potentially have been less focused. So all kind of ways to say that I have prioritized over the wish list being prepared for the gig, which I should have done all along. And, I got spoiled in the pandemic because I was able to practice 4 hours a day, which is no big feat, by the way. It's nothing I'm bragging about, because 4 hours a day is kind of like the baseline for serious practice, all along the route, but I was never able to attain it. I'm scattered all over the place. And even when I am here by myself and we were in lockdown, and maybe I could walk out in my yard because nobody's around to see that I did it. Even then, I'm still kind of floating all over the place, and getting to 4 hours where I was, present for that amount of time, or more than that, there's something I had to work toward, because I'm always flitting between things. But having been able to do that, and having been able to, entertain some of the things that I would aspire to or enjoy doing rather than just the responsibilities. Of course, I enjoy everything I do, but you know what I mean. It's been a little bit of I can't do all that now, because really, it's reasonable that I can practice 2 hours a day on average, and if I have a wonderful week of practicing, I can do more, a little bit, but I can't, not unless I don't have anything else going on, So prepping for the gig could mean all sorts of things. Now, the very specific aspect to this video is that I came back from rehearsal, that just scrambled my brain. No comment on that. That's not the point. And very soon, like not long from now at all, I need to leave for a gig with my friend Paula Johns. You may have heard me talk about Paula. I've known her for decades. Met her on a gig in Atlantic City when I think was a sub in her band one night. And she was also the singer when the Mediri Brothers Big Band, the primary singer when the big band was in its heyday. And lately, we've reconnected. She lives up in Philly, and we do some duo stuff. So I have a duo gig with her in a, I think, adult community or something. It's kind of midway between where she lives and where I live. So it's very convenient. But I can't really play through her tunes because she's going to have her book of charts and she's going to put it in front of me. And that's okay. That's what a musician does. And I could get away without looking at them. But what I'm going to do, this is so ridiculous, is I'm going to open the email from her in front of you. I think I prepped this so it would be there. Let's see if I did it right. Apparently not. So let's see how I can do this. Here it is. Oh, let me see. Oh, so I'm not doing very well here. Okay, Paul is in here somewhere. I thought I had the email pulled up, but phones are just not my friend. And that certainly is not my friend. Maybe I'm not going to pull this up. But wait a minute. Did I download the thing? Let's see here. Oh, I thought I was, and I'm also using my other phone that I am not good at working. I don't like it. Oh, found it. Okay. So she sent me a set list, and this is a gig that we're not doing a lot of the older Great American Songbook stuff. You know, Paula, just like the rest of us who were steeped in the older Great American Songbook year, have to make the adjustment. And, you know, this is a adult community, but that basically means like 60s and even 70s or 50s and not a whole lot of 40s. So I'm looking at her list, and I can't really play through the tunes because I'm going to have her book of charts. So really, I just have to have the tunes settled. Okay, Comply With Me. That's one of the, it's good. You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Good. She wants it in B flat, Bossa Nova. She's going to have a chart in front of me. So have I played the tune in B flat? I don't know. Maybe not. She says Bossa, but we take that loosely, you know. But it is kind of like a Bossa. Heat Wave, and of course I think Irving Berlin, but I know what she's thinking. Heat Wave, and okay, A flat shuffle. I'll look at the chart. I know how that goes. Beyond the Sea. G. Oh my goodness, look at this. What's love got to do with it? And I know the groove of that. Right? So I'm not going to worry about that. She has a chart. And she wrote Pop Soul. Just the Way You Are, Billy Joel tune. Love that tune. Summertime. Walk On By. I think that's from the Dionne Warwick book, and I've done that show with Paula. Do You Want to Dance? Now, this one I have no idea. B flat funk ballad. So what I have to do now is when I get in the car, I'm driving up there, and I'm going to pull up a YouTube video, and I'm going to listen to this tune, so I know what kind of groove to lay down. So in something like this, the essence of the rhythmic underpinning is what you want to get. And if you've watched these videos, you've heard me talk about this, where you kind of just have a template that you go in, you know, a feel, you know, a rhythmic underpinning. I think I already said that, and you just bring that into the tune. So I'm more interested in listening to Do You Want to Dance to see like what the feel is. And I may have to turn on the keyboard bass, do a little joggle in my left hand maybe. I'm not going to have a drummer, but I could still do that. And also I should listen to the tune to see if there are any, you know, funny turns or twists or anything. But that would also be in her chart. Now, could I get away without doing that? Probably. You know, even though I have no idea what the tune is, because if I had a chance before we're setting up, Paul, sing a little bit of that to me. Let me feel what it's like. And she, how about this? Does that work? Yeah, that works. I could do it like that. But, you know, if I have the opportunity, I mean, as prepared as I can be is good. Now, I'm betraying to you that I'm not that prepared, but I haven't had the opportunity. And also, you know I can get this done. Oh, come on, baby, let's do the twist. Right, fine. Nice and easy does it. Okay. Tennessee Whiskey. That's a blues tune, right? That shouldn't be hard. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Something like that, right? Feel Like Making Love. Okay, she does it in a different key. Yeah. That's not the key she does it in. It's the key I do it in. But she'll have it in front of me. And if I didn't have that chart in front of me, it would, I should be able to do the tune anyway. But there are guys like who Paula works with on the weekends, Dean Snyder. That guy is like the musical director par excellence, right? And he's got the mind for that skill set. I have a Teflon in there and things don't stick. But I'll find a way to get it done. Why do fall in love, love me tender, no mood at all? I think is like a swing tune. That's my list. So that's actually some of my prep. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the car in a few minutes, and I'm going to make sure I at least listen to, actually, once I stop this video and get it off my phone, I need a few minutes to do that, so I can load it up for you tonight. Then before I leave, I'll see if I have the chance to listen all the way through to whatever that tune I said is, Do You Want to Dance? Now, if I don't, then I can listen to it in the car. But if I didn't have a chance to listen to it all the way through, the cheat is listen to the beginning, listen to how they set it up, listen to the groove, remember that groove. Because what I'm going to remember, if I listen to the whole thing, I'm not going to remember what happened anyway, but I will remember what it felt like, which is related to what many musicians have said. And there was an opera singer that I watched being interviewed, and he said, when I sing for the audience and then they go home, they don't remember what I sang to them, but they do remember how it made them feel. And that's really all I can remember. So this is actually very easy gig prep. The difficult kind of gig prep is when you have to learn the tunes as if they are events. And this is a whole rabbit hole that maybe I'll just write tunes as events. And that's really something that's an approach I don't take. There are times when that has to happen. Tunes are places where we have conversations, where we agree on what we're doing. But the idea of a tune as an event is like every young garage band or kids who get together or play, or a lot of like amateur musicians who play in church bands, and they just rehearse every tune, and it has to be you're basically learning each tune as opposed to like the vocabulary, and so you know how to just step in. You don't have to rewrite the composition every time because you kind of know how to do it, so to speak. And that's or the band. Like when the first band I played in, a pop band, we rehearsed every whatever it was, maybe Tuesday night, and oftentimes we played 3 nights a week. Actually, once I was gigging all the time, we didn't rehearse on Tuesday nights, but initially we did. And they put tunes in front of me that I never heard of. I've told you this, and I would learn the tunes or pop tunes, but I never listened on the radio. Then I'd hear the tune like 6 months later and think the original record was wrong because that's not how I was doing it. And at this point, for all the bands and people I work with, if I had to rehearse 1 night a week, I would need a month for every week. So it's like there's this kind of progression you get through, and you have to have rehearsals. But rehearsals, at this stage are for we have to talk through the form, we have to work out this difficult thing. Here's a difficult passage. How are we going to handle this? It's more conceptual. And for like most of my gigs, and including especially like with Paula, tunes are not events. Tunes are just, okay, we got the coordinates set on our GPS, let's go, right? And that's what we're going to do. So I apologize that this video is short, but I need to be out of the house in just a few minutes. And I just wanted to get this in, and this is my only chance. So thank you so much for being supportive, for being here, for being interested. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks again.